Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to Fabrizio Romano, Edison Cavani has signed his contract extension with Manchester United. That means Edison Cavani is staying at Manchester United for next season. He said last week that Edison Cavani has decided to stay at Manchester United this summer. And last week it did mention that Cavani was close to agreeing a 1-year contract extension with Man United. Before that, Solskjaer did say he's doing all he can to convince Edison Cavani to stay at the club. And Solskjaer did say that Edison Cavani's future was not 100% decided. Earlier on this season, Edison Cavani had a meeting with Manchester United, and he actually asked to leave Manchester United for Boca Juniors, because Footballer Insider said earlier on this season that Cavani was willing to take a pay cut to go to Boca Juniors. He says he had a verbal agreement with Boca Juniors, and Boca Juniors were willing to offer him a 3-year contract. And Marcus Rojo, who was a former Manchester United player, he held talks with Cavani regarding a move to Boca Juniors. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Cavani was actually closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United, and Edison Cavani's father even came out and said that Cavani's unhappy, he doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. But I'm really glad that he's staying for next season. I presume all Man United fans are glad that he's staying, and I believe that Solskjaer will be delighted, because Cavani has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. In a lot of his games at Manchester United, he's been consistent. His hold-up play has been good. His movement in and around the box has been good. He's created good chances and he's scored very good goals. Cavani recently came off the bench against Aston Villa and scored. He scored 2 goals against Roma in the Europa League semi-final second leg. He scored 2 goals in the first leg against Roma. But there has been some games where Cavani hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. Cavani's got a good pedigree behind him as a player. He did very well when he was at PSG. He won quite a lot of trophies and he was a long-serving player at PSG. Since Cavani's come in though, he has sustained a few injuries at Manchester United. Now, Manchester United are preparing a 175 million double swoop for Erling Harland and Jaden Sancho. Now, recent reports have said that we've changed our mind on Jaden Sancho because of Mason Greenwood. It recently said that we ended our interest in Sancho because it says we want Jude Bellingham, not Jaden Sancho. Now, reports were coming out yesterday saying that Manchester United are preparing a £80 million bid for Jaden Sancho. Jaden Sancho recently admitted that he's unsure where his future lies. He said a few weeks ago that Borussia Dortmund lowered their asking price for Sancho. He says they want around £78 million. Borussia Dortmund have already confirmed that they've got a gentleman's agreement with Sancho over the possible transfer. Jaden Sancho's preference would be to leave Dortmund and go to a team playing in the Champions League. Fabrizio Romano recently said that Jaden Sancho would be 100% happy to join Manchester United in the summer, because he mentioned that Sancho was keen on a move to Man United last summer. And earlier on this season, Borussia Dortmund admitted that they'll sell Sancho for the right price this summer, and Borussia Dortmund's CEO did reveal that the club will discuss exceptional offers for the winner. Now, earlier on this season, it said that we was preparing a £50 million bid for Sancho. Last summer, he was our number one priority target. Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close because the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and a contract had been agreed. The main explanation we didn't get him last summer is because we was reluctant to meet Dortmund's 108 million valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Fabrizio Romano, though, and Christian Falk have spoken a lot about the Jaden Sancho transfer saga. Basically, Dortmund are planning to sell Sancho, so they have much greater chance of keeping Erling Harland. Chelsea have recently entered the race for Sancho. Liverpool were in for him, but I think they've now dropped their interest. Analysing the vast majority of Sancho's career at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. You know, Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2023. He recently said we was looking at Kingsley Coman as an alternative to Sancho. Now, Erling Harland, Dortmund are demanding 150 million. The Athletic said earlier on this season that we are one of the clubs that can afford Erling Harland. He said a few weeks ago that we're going to make him our top priority, and it says we could be forced to wait until next year to get Harland, because next year he'll be available for 60 odd million pounds, because that's when his release clause becomes active. And it did say earlier on this season that we are prepared to pay around 130 million for Harland. Earlier on this season, Erling Haaland's agent Minio Raiola and Erling Haaland's father, Al Finch Haaland, flew to England for talks with several Premier League clubs. They also held talks with Real Madrid and Barcelona. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that he was following Erling Haaland's progress in keeping in touch with the player. He actually said he kept calling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. So there you go, and obviously, you know the news regarding Harry Kane from Tottenham. Apparently he's open to a move to Barcelona. Harry Kane is ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers this summer. It recently said the Glazers are planning to sanction a £90 million bid. I don't think £90 million will be enough to convince Tottenham to offload him, because Daniel Levy, Tottenham's chairman, said not so long ago that Tottenham will only consider offers for Harry Kane starting at £125 million. Earlier on this season, Harry Kane said he will ask to leave Tottenham if they fail to qualify for the Champions League, and he's decided that he wants to stay in the Premier League if he decides to leave Tottenham. Now, earlier on this season, it said that PSG were looking to be us and City to the signing of Harry Kane. A few weeks ago, Harry Kane come out and said that he wants to win team trophies. He said that after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City. And earlier on this season, it said that Kane had dealt Tottenham a major blow, because it said he's refusing to commit his future to Tottenham, and he said he was delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Harry Kane's been a very long-serving player at Tottenham. He's been with them 17 years and he's been in their senior squad since 2009. He's got a contract with Tottenham until 2024. He's won the Golden Boot, hasn't he, a few times, reflecting on his good performances. He's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. You obviously know the news on Declan Rice from West Ham. Darren Fletcher said not so long ago that Declan Rice asked about Man United when he was on international duty with England, and Declan Rice has already asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. Reports were coming out the other month though saying that Declan Rice is interested in joining Man United. It said West Ham were demanding £100 million. It said earlier on this season though that Solskjaer agreed with our recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club. The main explanations I'd take Declan Rice at Man United is because he's well Premier League proven, he's still young, he's got a lot of development in him. He's predominantly a holding midfielder and Man United need a holding midfielder. He's been at West Ham now for 7 years. He's got a contract with West Ham until 2024. But yeah, I'm expecting Man United to do good business in the summer transfer window. I'm expecting us to make 3, 4, maybe even 5 signings, and I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big this year's summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. The summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Solskjaer obviously wants good backing in the summer transfer window, and you know what? I'm expecting him to get the backing he deserves because we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. We've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. And of course we've got Matt Judge, and Matt Judge has been part of the club for a while. Solskjaer did mention earlier on this season that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. He did warn Man United that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic. Solskjaer spent almost £300 million so far as Man United manager. Obviously the players he's brought in so far is Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. He also brought Bruno Fernandes in, and he brought Odin Igalo in on loan. Igalo obviously left the club though in January this year. And obviously he brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Amad Diallo Traore and Facundo Pellistri. We loaned Facundo Pellistri out in January. So yeah, he has made some good signings, but obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in as yet. We're going to focus on the outgoings in the summer transfer window though, as well as the incomings. We're going to get rid of quite a few players in the summer transfer window. I think there's a very, very good chance that we're going to offload David De Gea, because obviously we're looking for a second choice goalkeeper to replace him. Some United fans think it would be a mistake getting rid of De Gea, but I don't think it would be. David De Gea, I think, is for sale now. It said earlier on this season that De Gea had made his transfer decision. It said he's preparing to leave Manchester United, and it said Man United is set to pay off his huge contract. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract, and he's on £375,000 a week. He said we'd set the price for De Gea, it's around £50 million, and quite a few teams have been interested in him. De Gea's been a long servant at Man United. He's endured 10 years at the club. He's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. I reckon De Gea's had like 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. He's won everything domestically at the football club. I think there's a very, very good chance he will go back to Spain. Phil Jones, I'm also expecting us to offload him in the summer transfer window because he's always been inconsistent, doesn't get in our 11, and plus he's been out of injury for over a year. This has been Phil Jones' 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. Axel Tuanzebe, could we offload him because he doesn't get in our 11? I think he's in contention to play against Leicester though because obviously Harry Maguire's not available, he's injured. I think it will be him alongside Eric Bailly like I mentioned. Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. Nemanja Matic, I think we should offload him because I do have my strong reservations about him and he's not one of our first choice midfielders. Alex Telles, good chance we'll offload him because he's played nowhere near as much as I expected as Telles. You know, when we got Telles last summer, I expected him to be our first choice left back immediately, but obviously it hasn't happened. Said not so long ago that Telles has decided to leave Man United this summer. Calcio Mercato said that Juventus are interested, and he said Juventus are willing to offer Adrian Rabiot in a swap deal for Alex Telles. We got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto. Juan Mata, I'm also expecting us to offload him as well because he doesn't really get in our 11. And a lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial. Obviously, Anthony Martial is out with a knee injury at the moment. Solskjaer hopes that Martial will be fit though for the Europa League final against Villarreal. So the players that we do sell in the summer transfer window will generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. You obviously know the news regarding the Glazers. Joe Glazer recently wrote a letter to Manchester United fans. Not so long ago, Avram Glazer refused to apologise over the European Super League because Sky News caught up with him in Florida. Solskjaer did say not so long ago that the Glazers apologised to him. Solskjaer did say that the violent incidents went too far, but he says the club have got to take notice of the fans, and Solskjaer was recently angry with Gary Neville over the Man United protests. Gary Neville had a few things to say on it. You know, Neville came out and said it was a peaceful protest, and he said he blames the Glazers for the protests. You know, obviously, the game against Liverpool last Sunday got postponed because obviously hundreds of our fans went inside Old Trafford and invaded the pitch to protest against the Glazers. The game obviously against Liverpool's been rearranged for Thursday the 13th of May. Quite a few weeks ago our fans were protesting against the Glazers at Carrington, and as you all know there was holding banners up and some of our fans were blocking entrances into the Carrington training ground. Now the Glazers could be forced to sell Man United but for only £4 billion. It said before that the Glazers have got no intentions of selling Man United and they're here to stay. Solskjaer did say a few weeks ago that the Glazers will not sell Man United, and he did tell protesters before that Joe Glazer loves the club. Joe Glazer released a statement a few weeks ago apologising to club fans over the European Super League plans. But we get the Glazers out, it definitely would be the right decision by Manchester United. Because the Glazers have put us in so much debt, and I hate the way the football club has been run in general for a long time now. The Glazers bought Manchester United for $500 million in 2005, so they have been with us now 16 years. We've got to recommend new owners in, and by the way, we are planning a second protest against the Glazers. You obviously know the news regarding Ed Woodward. Woodward will stand down at the end of the year, which is good news. It got announced quite a few weeks ago now that Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. I presume all United fans were delighted with the news regarding Ed Woodward, because we've been very critical of Woodward for a long time. And not so long ago, Ed Woodward's house, or should I say mansion, got attacked by masked protesters. Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club. Woodward said earlier on this season, though, that he believes Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward, and he released a statement regarding Solskjaer and the players, saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. And even when we was enjoying them bad periods under Ole, Woodward come out several times to show his support for Solskjaer. But I've got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot of credit. I think he's made very, very good progress. He is our best manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. There's a lot of positives regarding Solskjaer. Like I've mentioned, he's made good signings as Man United manager. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. He did well last season, his first full season at the club. He guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a third place finish. He's done well in a lot of aspects this season. This has been Solskjaer's second full season. You know, this season he's got us to the Europa League final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. You know, we're sitting second in the Premier League, which is good, and we're probably going to finish second. We've got a very, very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 25 Premier League away games. And we've enjoyed very good periods under Ole, where we have seen consistency, and we're enjoying a good period at the moment. And I like the way that Ole has promoted the youth. And they are the positives regarding Solskjaer. I do have my concerns about him as well. You know, Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager over 2 years now. He's got just under a year left on his current 3-year contract. Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, but hopefully we can win the Europa League. We win the Europa League, it will be his first trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. This final against Villarreal is Solskjaer's first major final as Man United manager, and it's our 8th European final. And I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the long-term manager for Man United, and I hope he succeeds. There's a lot of United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, and they believe that he needs more time at the club. Obviously, there's been a lot of United fans that have been demanding Solskjaer out as well. They've obviously got their reasons behind it. But whether Solskjaer succeeds as Man United manager or not, I'll still always love him, because at the end of the day, he's a club legend. Solskjaer enjoyed 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. You know, Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. You know, we appointed Solskjaer in, didn't we, in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. Ole's inheriting players from other managerial eras. Ole is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. The 3 managers we've sat since Ferguson was David Moyes, we sat Louis van Gaal, and we also sat Jose Mourinho. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. I think in recent years as well, we've overpaid for players. We spent over £1 billion in the last 8 years as well. And we've brought around 37 players in since Ferguson retired. And in general, I think we've made mistakes in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. But nobody's going to replicate what Sir Alex Ferguson did at the club. That's, you know, we've got to accept that. On my next video, I will be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of the game against Leicester. So far, I've given you the preview for the game, and on my recent video, I give you my starting 11 prediction. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.